I used to think I was financially wise. I didn't splurge, didn't chase cars, didn't care about brand names. I had a personal expense tracker in Excel, every single dong accounted for. I always picked the cheaper option, hunted for discounts, prioritized value for money. I read finance books, watched budgeting videos, followed investing experts. And I believed if I saved long enough, lived simply enough, stayed disciplined enough, one day I'd be financially free. I lived by that formula for nearly 10 years. And then one morning, I opened my bank account and froze. The balance hadn't grown, not even a little. Even though I was working harder, being more disciplined, getting smarter, no unnecessary purchases, no big trips, not a single wasteful expense. And yet, no assets, no passive income, nothing that would keep me safe if one day I couldn't keep working. I felt like I'd been conned, but no one conned me. I conned myself. By following a financial model that was broken from the start, I call it the smart saving trap. It wasn't because I lacked knowledge. It was because I had blind faith in a lifestyle the world praises, minimalist living, cutting expenses, focusing on saving, staying sensible. Sounds reasonable, and to a degree it is. But here's the problem. Saving doesn't build assets. Saving just keeps you afloat. It's like a life jacket. It keeps your head above water. But if you ever want to reach shore, you need a boat, you need oars, you need direction. I mistook the life jacket for the boat and drifted endlessly in place. A lot of people are doing the same. They think they're being smart, but really, they're just delaying the fall. A friend of mine, 33 years old, an engineer, excellent with money control, never eats out more than twice a week, brews coffee at home, fixes his own car, learns skills on YouTube. After 7 years working, he managed to save the equivalent of a mid-level engineer's annual salary in Houston. Then, out of nowhere, layoffs hit. 6 months later, his account was down to a fraction of that. No backup income, no safety net. Back to square one, haunted by a single question. What was the point of all that discipline, sacrifice, penny pinching? I'm not saying saving is wrong, but saving without strategy is just a slow motion collapse. I once coached an internal accountant. She managed to save 5 million dong a month, tracked every expense down to the receipt. But after 10 years, she was still renting, still riding an old bike, still owned nothing that made her money. I asked her, "Why are you saving?" She smiled, "For peace of mind." I asked again, "Do you feel at peace now?" She went quiet. The answer is never in your bank balance. It's in this. Is your money working or standing still? Saving is a closed act. It doesn't activate flow. You save 1 million, you still have 1 million. And after a year, it's worth less. The wealthy don't save by cutting. They save to transform into assets. They don't eat less. They eat what fuels them to perform better. They don't stop spending. They spend to build stronger systems, better skills, sharper tools, strategic leverage. I misunderstood all that. I thought, as long as I don't spend much, I'll be fine. I thought, the more I keep, the safer I am. I thought, I don't need to earn more. I just need to spend less. But that's not how the world works. No one gets rich by shrinking forever. You can't compress yourself into dust and hope to become a diamond. You have to learn how to make cash flow multiply. And to do that, you must reset your entire thinking about financial safety. Many are living by a false formula. Saving equals smart, spending equals stupid. But the truth is, not spending at all is the real stupidity. Not investing in yourself, not creating new income streams, not using money to break your limits. You cut spending, but don't increase your earning power. You live simply, but build no profit systems. You're afraid to invest, scared of loss. But what you don't see is, not investing is the biggest loss of all. You lose time, lose opportunities, lose leverage, lose your life to a wallet that quietly deflates each day. I watched a guy spend 5 years saving up, then bought a small plot of land outside the city. He held onto it, did nothing, waited for the price to rise. 10 years later, the area stalled, bad roads, no buyers. That land became a block of dead safety, no cash flow, no liquidity, no upside. If he had used that money to learn investing or build a small system or form a partnership or rent it out, he could be in a completely different place today. That you're clinging to might be the very reason you're stuck. You call it saving. I call it preserving stagnation. There's a brutal paradox. The more you save, the more afraid you become. You save your first few million and feel secure. You save the equivalent of a few months' salary and start to worry. You save the income of a mid-level engineer in Houston, and you panic even more. Strange, isn't it? You'd think having more money would make you feel safer, but it doesn't. You start checking your account more often. You worry about inflation, about illness, about layoffs, about bad investments. You read more news, follow more experts, scroll through finance groups, and brace yourself. And you grip tighter, so tight that you stop doing anything. You stop investing, stop exploring new work, stop upgrading your skills, stop testing new models. You think it's being safe, but in reality, you're standing still in a system that's moving fast. Money's losing value. Technology is evolving. Business models are shifting. Markets are rotating. But you stay frozen because you believe holding on is winning. This is the deadly loop of unstrategic saving. You simplify even more, cut more expenses, skip the coffee, cancel the movies, forget vacations. You think you're inching toward financial freedom, but you're not. You're just shrinking yourself to fit inside a box that never grows. Like a fish in a tiny tank, no matter your potential, the environment caps you. I met a freelancer, saved nearly 10 million dong every month. No bars, no restaurants, no travel, no shopping. After 4 years, still stuck in the same level of life. I asked, why not use some of that money to hire someone to handle sales, scale your work? They said, what if they don't perform? I asked, what if you burn out? Silence. Here's what most don't realize. Saving doesn't teach you to manage risk. Saving just teaches you to avoid it. And when you avoid risk long enough, nothing grows. It's like trying to raise a tree, but you're afraid to water it in case it drowns. Eventually, it withers. Survival mode saving is a subtle resistance to growth. You don't invest in systems. You don't build assets. You don't expand income channels. You just try to maintain, but you forget. No loss doesn't mean profit. You spend your life trying not to lose. But if that's your life goal, you've already lost. The wealthy don't play the don't lose game. They play the create more game. They're willing to risk a part to build something bigger. You save 50 million and call it an achievement. They use that same amount to test an idea. If it fails, they call it tuition. If it works, it becomes an asset. But you don't play that game because you're not willing to lose. And that's why you stay stuck in the zone of just enough to survive, never enough to break through. I once mentored a phone repair shop owner making around 70 million dong a month. Talented, skilled, trusted. But he did everything himself. Didn't hire help, didn't open a second branch, didn't rent a better location, saved every penny, and built up nearly 400 million over 6 years. I asked, why not use part of that to scale? He said, too risky. I'd rather stick to what I know. 3 years later, a major phone chain opened nearby. He lost 80% of his customers, cash flow gone, no edge left. Eventually, he shut down. His financial death didn't come from failure. It came from standing still, from using saving as a shield instead of a springboard. Saving only helps you last longer in bad conditions. It doesn't bring you closer to freedom. It's like having a spare oxygen tank, but no rescue boat. You'll float longer, but still sink. So if your saving strategy is just to stay safe, just to decide later, just in case in Willem, then you're living in a loop of hold, wait, don't dare. That loop makes you rich very slowly, or never at all. You're not investing in skills that increase your value. You're not creating new streams of income. You're not learning how to separate income from time. You're just working and hoarding and waiting for the day things settle down. Here's the bad news. That day won't come. Things won't stabilize the way you imagine. The only solution is to stabilize yourself by building a system where money doesn't depend on your daily labor, a system with cash-generating assets, a system where saving is just the first step, not the end goal. If not, you'll always be a pedestrian in a car race. No matter how hard you try, you'll never reach the finish line. The real question isn't, how much have you saved? It's, is your saved money doing anything for you? Because if it's just sitting still, it's not an asset. It's a kind of disguised liability, giving you the illusion of safety, while in reality, you're stuck. You're not broke, but you're not getting richer either. You've got a savings account, But every month, you still have to work, still get nervous if layoffs hit, still second guess every vacation. That's the loop many financially aware people live in. Aware, but not active. Good at saving, but clueless at building systems. Good at holding on, but afraid to multiply. Saving won't make you poor. But if saving is all you do and you don't generate cash flow, you'll never be free. You're operating in asset preservation mode, not asset creation mode. You're playing the financial game with a defensive mindset instead of a builder's mindset. That's why you can work for 10 years and still not afford to take 2 months off. Not because you're reckless with money, but because you have no system that earns when you're not working. Money doesn't move on its own, so you have to keep running. That's the endless loop of saving that leads nowhere. If you see yourself in that trap, don't panic. Awareness begins the moment you admit you've been playing by the wrong rules. And the new rules don't start with saving. They start with building money-making assets. You've heard the term smart spending. Price comparisons, chasing discounts, using vouchers, flash sales, cashback hacks, 0% installment plans. It gives you a sense of clarity, a feeling that you're in control of your money. You think you're beating the system, but in truth, the system is running you. Because what's sold as smart saving is often a sweet trap. It keeps you busy chasing pennies instead of building something bigger. It makes you spend time hunting promo codes instead of using that time to build a new income stream. It makes you feel victorious saving $30,000 instead of asking, how do I generate $300,000 per hour? That's subconscious poverty. You're not broke because you lack money. You're broke because your vision is trapped in small math. I once met someone who mastered this style of saving, an Excel sheet for vouchers, an app to track credit card perks, a purchase strategy for every e-commerce flash hour. They saved roughly the equivalent of a month's groceries every month. But they worked 8 hours a day, 6 days a week, income at a stable lower middle level. I asked, how many hours a week do you spend chasing deals? They said, maybe 5 to 6. Then I asked, have you ever spent 5 hours learning to increase your income instead? They paused. I'm not telling you not to save. I'm asking, are you saving in the right arena? Because saving by cutting costs is the lowest tier of the financial system. It's essential for gaining control. But if you stay there, you'll be stuck playing the small game forever. The wealthy don't save by hunting sales. They save by optimizing systems, optimizing taxes, optimizing cash flow structures, optimizing value models. They don't ask, how do I spend less? They ask, how do I turn $1 into 5? That's the difference between smart saving and smart finance. One is minimizing loss. The other is amplifying potential. Which game are you playing? I once coached a graphic designer earning modestly. He managed expenses well, saved consistently, no impulse spending, yet never felt secure. I asked, if you saved an extra $3 million a month, would your life change? He said, I'd feel safer. Then I asked, what if you earned an extra $10 million a month? He fell silent because he had never let himself think that far. Saving keeps you in a minimized state, but wealth is born from a create state. When you focus on spending less, you reinforce the belief, this is all I've got. When you focus on making more, you start to unlock an entirely new system. Wealth has nothing to do with how much you spend. It has everything to do with which level of finance you operate in. If you're still spending your brainpower on flash deals, budgeting hacks, and living more minimally, you haven't left the control zone. You're still in survival mode, even if you feel in control. Like someone in a desert, rationing every drop, every crumb, but never stepping out of the sand tent. You're not wrong for saving. But you need to be honest. Saving won't make you rich. It just keeps you from dying. If that feels extreme, look around. No one truly wealthy got there by saving alone. They got rich because they used money to run systems. Saving is just the shell of discipline. Systems are the core of freedom. I once analyzed finances for a spa owner, monthly revenue near 6 figures. She proudly said, I still save 20% monthly. I said, good. Where's that money now? In a savings account. I asked again, and after 5 years, what do you have? Almost $1 billion. I nodded. Then the final question, if you stop working for 3 months, what income still comes in? She looked down. None. See the problem? Great saver, High income, no reckless spending, but no active cash flow, no income generating asset, no system that runs without her. Meaning, once she stops, everything stops. That's the dark side of saving. It tricks you into thinking you're preparing for the future, but in reality, you're keeping money in a box of outdated beliefs. You're playing the finance game on defense mode. Your money isn't dead, but it's not multiplying either. The wealthy don't keep money to feel safe. They use money to buy back time, to buy leverage, to build systems. Money only has two destinies. Either you use it to create freedom, or it will use you to protect the illusion of stability. Which side are you on? If you're still using safety as your reason to hold money, you need to wake up. Because sometimes the fear of losing money is what's costing you freedom every single day. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I like saving money? It's not just a habit. It's not just your personality. It's because saving makes you feel in control of something when the rest of your life feels completely out of control. Saving at its core is a survival mechanism. It activates when you're not sure you'll be able to create more in the future. When you truly believe, I can earn more if I need to. I can generate more cash flow if I want to. I can run a bigger system if I learn. Then you don't cling to every dollar like a survivor clutching a ration box. But if deep down you believe, nothing is certain, what if something bad happens? What if I can't earn it back? Then saving becomes a safety costume. And the more you save, the more you unconsciously label yourself as, I'm not enough to create more. I'm not telling you to stop saving. I'm asking, are you willing to confront the belief behind it? Are you saving because you want to build assets? Or because you're afraid you're not good enough to manage bigger money? Are you spending less because you have a clear goal of freedom? Or because you fear that if you spend, you won't be able to earn it back? Are you optimizing every penny? Or are you living inside the belief, just surviving is already good enough? I once spoke to an engineer. He said, I save because my parents always taught me that. Being broke is painful. I asked, since graduating, has your income increased? Yes, it's doubled. And you still save like before? Yeah, the more I earn, the more I save. So if your income triples, what would you do differently? Probably save even more. This isn't about finances anymore. This is a belief structure. He's not living by numbers. He's living by deeply ingrained beliefs. Beliefs like money must be held tightly or it will disappear. Beliefs like those who spend too much will suffer. Beliefs like safety is the highest form of financial success. But the truth is, those beliefs work at the survival stage. They don't work when you're trying to build a wealth system. You cannot enter the world of B&I if your mindset is still squeeze every penny. You can't build leverage if you fear using money to hire, to learn, to scale. A freelance content creator once told me, I'm very frugal. I earn 30 million per month, spend 10 and save 20. I asked, have you invested any of it? Not yet. I don't fully understand it, so I'm holding off. Then I asked, if you lose all your clients next month, how will you live? I guess I'll dip into my savings. And if no jobs come for 3 months, I'd probably have to look for a full-time job again. The issue isn't how much you save. The issue is your money working for you, or is it just sitting still, waiting for you to burn out? The wealthy build systems that generate money. The poor have savings accounts for emergencies. One side builds assets. The other side hoards out of fear of lack. The savings mindset is level 1. If you don't move to the next level, it becomes a cocoon. It wraps you up, traps you in the illusion of, I'm being smart. But really, it's just you haven't dared to play big yet. Have you ever caught yourself saying, this is worth it. Wait for the sale. Why spend on that? It's a waste. I like it, but not necessary. On the surface, it sounds like smart spending. But underneath, it's a defense mechanism for fear. Fear of not having enough. Fear of making mistakes, fear of failure, fear of losing control over your cash flow. I once heard a friend say he skipped buying cheap stocks because I was saving for a possible car breakdown. The car never broke. The stock 5x'd in 2 years. It wasn't his fault. It was the reflex of someone trained to avoid loss more than to pursue gain. Most of us grew up in systems that teach you to save but not to invest, teach you to spend wisely but not to use leverage, teach you to avoid risk, but not to assess and allocate risk. And so you build a layer of smart spending. Sounds like strategy, but it's really a defensive mindset. You may be optimizing extremely well, but if you're only optimizing to survive, you're following the wrong map. Optimizing for survival, optimizing for expansion. One student once told me, I don't want to hire an editor. Feels wasteful. I can still do it myself. So I asked, what's your content creation time worth per hour? Maybe $1 million per hour. And how much does hiring an editor cost? About $150,000. I stayed quiet. So did he. Here's the paradox. You save $150,000 and kill $1 million worth of your own productivity. The savings mindset keeps you from letting go of tasks, from scaling, from risking small amounts while losing much bigger opportunities every single day. Who are you saving like? Someone surviving in a desert, treating every drop like gold? Or someone building a dam, knowing that water needs to flow in the right direction to become a river? Ever felt this? Your savings account isn't empty, but you still feel uneasy spending a big chunk. Still hesitate when it comes to investing. Still pause when there's a chance to upgrade your skills, self, or system. I call that silent financial strain. You look fine on the outside, but inside, you don't trust your ability to generate new cash flow. And the worst part is, the more you save, the more it holds you back. Like someone clutching their wallet so tight in the market that they end up buying nothing at all. Do you know what freedom is? It's not how much money you have. It's this. Can you make decisions without being controlled by financial fear? I once asked a small business owner, do you save regularly? Yes, I save $10 million each month. Do you have any systems that generate cash flow? Not yet. I'm saving up to invest later. When is later? Probably when I feel more confident. Which means when? When I have nothing to worry about. You see the loop? He's living in a dream of delay. When I feel safe, I'll take action. Not realizing action is what creates safety. The wealthy don't save to protect themselves. They allocate money to build assets, buy cash flow, create structures of freedom. The poor save out of fear of loss. The wealthy deploy because they know idle money is dying money. Money doesn't create freedom. Systems and financial belief structures do. I once met a woman in her 40s, a government employee. She had 3 savings books, some gold, a bank account. She didn't spend recklessly, had no debt, no investments. Each month, she saved diligently. I asked, why are you saving? She answered, so I won't have to rely on my kids later. I asked again, how much do you think you'll need then? She went silent because she didn't have a number, no clear financial goal, no system. She was simply saving on autopilot. This is the majority. Savers. They think they're moving toward safety, but in truth, they're just postponing an unnamed fear. Saving without a target, putting money in a jar and hoping good things will happen. The problem is, money loses value. Inflation waits for no one. Crises don't send invitations. Accidents, illness, unexpected turns never ask your permission. So what will you do when trouble hits? Withdraw your savings to survive? Then start again from zero, which means you don't have a system. You just have a cushion. People with financial clarity ask this every time they save. What asset is this money preparing for? How long until this capital starts yielding? What system will run when I stop working? The blind saver only asks, what if something bad happens? That's a defense-based mindset. Not wrong. But if all you do is defend without an attack strategy, you'll never get far. You're not poor because you lack money. You're poor because you lack a strategy for using money. Idle money is dead money. And the longer you leave it untouched, the more it rots under inflation. Ask yourself, are you saving to survive or to build a system that creates freedom? Where is your money going? Is it generating income? Is anyone or anything turning it into profit when you're not working? If you don't have a clear answer, you're saving the wrong way. That real saving is not about keeping money. It's about gathering fuel to invest at the right time, in the right place, into the right system. The poor save to survive. The free save to upgrade systems. They don't use money to feel safe. They use money to create safety. And that difference lies in mindset, not account balance. We often pride ourselves on being disciplined. I don't spend foolishly. I always save part of my income. I never buy what's unnecessary. Sounds like discipline, but the truth, it's not discipline, it's conditioning. Have you ever asked yourself, why do you save? Who taught you to do it? Where did you learn this? Most of the time, you don't know, because it's a belief installed since childhood. You watched your parents pinch pennies. You heard save for a rainy day. You saw the rich being criticized for flaunting wealth. You witnessed relatives go bankrupt after investing. And from that, you crafted a survival formula. Saving equals safety. Spending equals danger. Investing equals risk. Having too much money equals trouble. That mindset got into your subconscious. You assumed it was truth how the people before you survived. People before you survived. I once asked a young man, "Of course, I keep it in a savings account. And what's your plan for it?" "Not sure, maybe to get married, buy a house someday." Meaning he's saving by default, no personal plan, no financial strategy, just repeating an unchallenged habit. Saving isn't the problem. The problem is, are you saving with awareness or just looping an old formula? True discipline isn't holding on to money. It's having a clear strategy for every dollar you create. And if you've never questioned the root, why am I saving? What system is this cash waiting for? What belief is driving how I hold money? Then you're not disciplined. You're just programmed. I once worked with someone who was exceptionally good at saving. Every month, they managed to set aside nearly 40% of their income. But for 5 years straight, they didn't invest. No stocks, no real estate, no funds, no business models, nothing. I asked, "Why haven't you invested?" They answered, "Because I'm afraid of losing." I asked again, "Then what are you saving for?" They said, "To feel safe." What do you see in that story? Many people are great at saving, not because they have sound financial thinking, but because deep inside they carry a massive fear of losing money. And to avoid facing that fear, they choose the easier path, holding on to cash. They believe saving is smart. But in truth, it's a sophisticated trap of procrastination. They delay investing. They delay learning how assets work. They delay building systems that produce income. And then one day, they look back. They're not poor, but there's nothing big enough to grant freedom. They have money, but don't know what to do with it, other than leave it in savings. Have you ever fallen into this state? You know investing matters, but you keep waiting just a bit longer. You have idle cash, but pour it into safe choices like savings accounts. You read a lot, but never act because you fear losses. Listen to this. The wealthy don't avoid risk. They learn how to manage it. The survival-based saver always chooses avoidance, and that's why they never build real assets. Saving won't make you poor overnight, but it ensures you'll never get rich because you're too afraid to let your money run. And if you never let your money compete inside a system, you're weakening it a little more every day without knowing. You don't need to overhaul your entire life. You just need to start with 3 simple steps. Step 1, define your financial targets, tied to a timeline. Don't save blindly. Write it down. In 6 months, how much do I need to acquire my first asset? In 1 year, what cash flow will help me stop depending on my primary income? In 3 years, how do I want my personal financial system to operate? The more specific you are, the faster you escape defensive thinking. Step 2, use money as a tool, not a guardian angel. Don't hold on to it out of fear. Use money to buy time, buy leverage, buy systems that run without you. Money isn't meant to sit still. Money is energy. It must flow to generate returns. Step 3, see money as a flow, not a fixed point. Stop asking, how much money do I have? Start asking, where is the money flowing? What percent is fueling assets? What percent is producing cash flow? If I stop working, does anything keep flowing in? New questions shape new thinking. New thinking creates new behavior. You don't need to stop saving, but you do need to stop treating it like the finish line. Financially free people don't abandon saving. They just don't stop there. They turn every dollar saved into a brick that builds their system. And that difference is the shift between a saver and an asset owner.